I've got to be 40 rows up.
Yeah.
And because I was on the second level.
Yeah.
So, and some guy behind me is saying, I can clearly see he was not out. I'm like, dude, it's way down there.
Yeah, you can't see that.
There's no way you can clearly see him. That's all. But again, he was a Twins fan.
Yeah.
It went against the Twins.
Yeah.
That's appropriate response.
That's a fan response.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be a true fan if you don't get ticked off at those calls.
And I mean, there's a line. I mean, obviously, if you see the replay and it's very clearly.
Yeah.
Then, chill out.
Yeah.
And if you're still pissed off an hour later, dude, you got a problem.
But in soccer, there's so many 50-50 calls on fouls that's like, you should be ticked off if you're that team that goes against. It should be.
Yeah.
And in that play, even after replay, I was like, dude, he hit the guy. Yeah. And he was going for the ball, yes, but he still got him, and he got the ball a little bit. So, yeah. And these guys were like, well, sit down. It's terrible. It's like, are you watching? Do you guys care if we win this game or not?
Right.
And,
I think that's the problem with Major League Soccer right now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to change. There are a lot of casual fans. I mean, way more casual fans than there are in other sports. Mm-hmm. And it's because they're used to watching EPL or La Liga on the weekends, and they're just starting to get into the sport here.
Well, how many fans did Blaine seat when we were in NASL?
So, excuse me.
I mean, there were, what was it, like 5,000?
Maximum 2016 was just under 12.
12,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say there's 11,000, 11,000. So those are your fans who are very into this team. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
That's me and you. A couple of our buddies very into this team.
Right.
Okay. You go to another stadium. Now there's 20. What is it? 21,000.
Yeah.
So half that stadium probably has never been to a soccer game before.
Right. And that's the big thing that a lot of people don't notice about Minnesota is that core. Mm-hmm. When you have 10,000 people showing up at an NASL game, they want to be there.
Yeah.
They're there because
we wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, that stadium was not a great stadium. I will say this, though. That stadium was great because you could stand behind the opposing goalie and drink beer and yell at the opposing goalie in their language.
Right.
So if they were German or Russian or whatever, you could yell at you look up on your phone and be like, okay, what is the word for you suck? Okay, and yell at it. And they'd be like, well, what's going on back here? They had great sight lines behind those goals to do anything.
Yeah.
I think when I went to those games, I don't think there were games that I ever spent in my seats for more than 15 minutes because I wanted to stand behind there and watch the game.
Right.
Totally different experience. Totally AAA or AA baseball experience where you were involved in the game.
Yep. I agree. And that's the cool thing about USL, now that NASL probably doesn't exist anymore, is it's still very organic and very just kind of... It's like a St. Paul Saints game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It was. It was great. I mean, the stadium was crap, but...
The food trucks are good.
Food trucks were great. The tailgating beforehand was good.
Yep.
Dark Clouds being out there was great. The stadium, even though the stadium was crap, walking around that stadium just felt like you were more involved in the game. We go to TCF Bank Stadium, and I understand that it's not a soccer stadium.
Right.
But you just don't feel like you're part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's like next year.
Yeah.
Because is it the university or is it just soccer gone corporate?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of it's the university.
Yeah.
They're pretty uptight, and I think you lose some of that. Now, I've been to Chicago.
Well, I have too. Yeah.
It's okay, I mean, the experience in general sucks because their fan base sucks.
Well, when were you were in Chicago last year?
I've been I was there for Minnesota last year, but I've been to probably half a dozen or more Fire games.
Me and Johnny, Nels, and Dave, not you, Dave, but a couple years ago, we went to a Chicago Fire game in Chicago. We went to a Twins game, and then there was a Fire game going on that Saturday. Twins game on Friday, Fire game Saturday. They weren't United weren't MLS yet. This was a couple years ago. They had a Bud Light party deck. Well, Bud Light party area. It was behind one of the goals. They had cement, open. You got free beers. You could sit wherever you wanted down there. And they had bags and they had games up in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a great time. You can stand up. And they had the stand-up tables up there. You could stand and watch the game. Or you could sit down. You get a seat. You could sit down. Johnny almost got hit in the head with a ball at that game. But it was great. And then they took that away now. Wouldn't you want to keep that? Because I think it was a really good idea. They just didn't market it very well.
Right.
Because when we were there weren't that many people in that area.
Right, there never are.
And, well, I will say this. Chicago Fire are in a very bad part of Chicago anyways. Their stadium is in a terrible spot.
Terrible.
Wherever you're staying, you take the tram. We were staying in downtown Chicago.
Okay.
We took the tram down all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And then they get you on buses that take you to stadium because they don't want you walking through that part of Chicago.
Yeah, that's not a pleasant part.
It's not a good part of Chicago.
It's not terrible, but it's not pleasant.
It's not. It's right by Midway Airport is where it is. They don't want you walking through this. So they put you on buses to bus you over. And I'm going, this is not good where they built this. This is not a good spot to build a stadium.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing around there. There's no restaurants. There's no bars. I mean, it's in the middle of I think it's like a shipping yard.
Yeah.
Like a train shipping yard?
Train yard, yeah.
Yeah, like a train yard. So it's not a good spot at all to build a stadium. Whereas now we're building Alliance. Is it Alliance? Alliance Stadium in St. Paul.
Don't let John hear that because, that's German.
I know. Yeah.
Johnny's
going to hear it and he's going to call me. So with the phone call from Johnny on do a Monday or Tuesday?
Probably Tuesday.
Tuesday. Call from Johnny. We're building that stadium, and guess what's around there? All kind downtown St. Paul, all kinds of. We got light rail that goes to it. You go to Minneapolis. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And KC, I like KC Stadium, but again,
it's on the edge, isn't it?
It's south of Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's right by the NASCAR track.
It's not even in. It's in Kansas, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's by the NASCAR track, and they built up a lot of stuff around there.
Right.
The problem is what they built around there is your typical suburban outlet malls and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's like you go down there and you're like, this is a great stadium. But afterwards you're like, okay, they got an Applebee's over there. You got a Dave & Buster's over there. You got this over here. It's like, what am I doing? I just don't. I don't understand it, Those are only two stadiums I've been to, so I guess other stadiums are probably better.
So, I've been to the Rapid Stadium.
That's Colorado, right?
That's
or is that
that's Colorado.
Colorado, yep. And there's downtown.
That's what, Dick's Sporting Goods? Yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Mm-hmm. And it's way out.
Really?
It's also not as bad as Bridgeview for Chicago, but it's out.
Okay.
And the it's an industrial park. Mm-hmm. There's a Bass Pro Shops in a
JCPenney's
within like a mile of it.
Okay.
But right next to it is the U.S. Post Office.
Oh, nice.
I mean the distribution center.
That's a very good place to see.
Yeah. And then there's the old Arsenal firing grounds. I think it is near it.
Very nice.
It's not a good place for a stadium.
No.
Then I've been to the worst place, way worse than Bridgeview, Dallas.
Really?
It's out in Frisco, which, I mean, no rational person would ever refer to Frisco as Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
It's probably 40 minutes, 35 minutes out of Dallas, the edge of Dallas. It's way out there. They tried to build it up, and nothing took. It's just a complete odd place for a stadium.
And that's why I'm going to go back in time a little bit here because I think that Minneapolis really screwed up when they said no to the soccer stadium at the farmers market.
Right.
Because if you put it there, you'd have soccer stadium, Target Field. It'd have been like a mecca of
and Target Center.
And Target. Oh yeah, Target Center, right in Warehouse District. I mean, right there. It'd been fantastic.
Yep.
And then we decided not to. Like St. Paul's like, hey, we got this old bus garage. We're going to tear that down. We'll put a stadium in.
Yeah.
Hey, go for it. And what killed me about the Minneapolis deal was like they were like, well, we don't want to build it because we have taxes and stuff that we don't want to deal with. And I'm going, okay, so the United are asking for a couple $1 million worth of no taxes.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty much you're not going to make $3 or $4 million on taxes.
Right.
That's it. And then you're going to have to do infrastructure improvements, but you're going to have to anyways at some point. So why not? And Minneapolis is like, no, we don't want to do that. Yeah, it's like, it would have cost Minneapolis what? I don't know. I don't know the deal. So they're going to lose $3 or $4 million on taxes, and they're going to do infrastructure. So let's say it's $25 million. Okay,
sure. Yeah.
It would cost $25 million. St. Paul says, "Oh, well, we want to do that.
Right.
We have the Wild already, right across 94. Now we'll put in a soccer stadium, and now we'll be the destination. And by the way, when you're driving on 94 towards St. Paul, you're going to see that stadium all lit up, all nice.
Yeah.
It's like Minneapolis totally screwed the pooch, man.
I think they did too, and I think it had a lot to do with the Vikings.
Well, it was politics. Everybody hated the whole Vikings deal.
Yeah.
I hated the whole Vikings deal too because I think the Wilfs got way too much money than they should have.
Right.
But it is what it is, and it happened. Okay.
Which, by the way, the Wilfs are now part of the Nashville Major League.
I heard this. Yes, I heard this.
And they've been running into hiccups with politics around it.
Of
course.
Yeah.
Because it's the Wilfs.
Yeah, it's the Wilfs.
Why wouldn't they be running into issues?
Well, the Wilfs wanted Major League Soccer in Minnesota. Yeah. They wanted. But Major League Soccer said, we're not going to play at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
Which is right. You shouldn't play there.
Exactly.
You know? And all these people came out right after that happened and said, well, this is BS because blah, 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 blah. And MLS should play where. I'm like, no. MLS can say where they want to play.
Yeah.
And guess what? The owner of the United came out and he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He put up his own money, which as much as people like to hate the guy because they say he got his money from the healthcare thing and all that stuff, McGuire, I still like the guy because he spent his own money on the stadium.
Right.
As much as 75% of the people in the state of Minnesota don't believe that he spent his own money at the stadium, think that somehow they're paying for it somewhere.
Yes.
And I'm going, you're not paying for this. You understand? Oh, this is a boondoggle. No, you're not paying. Do you understand? You are not paying for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're paying for it in taxes. I'm like, no. These are taxes that you're not going to get. Okay? That's $3 or $4 million that was never there.
Right.
And it's not going to be paid for. So how are you paying for it? You know?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. People fail to realize that entire site was tax exempt. Mm-hmm. So whether there's a stadium there or not, they're not making money off it.
Oh, but the new thing was they tear down that strip mall.
Yes.
And people were pissed. Oh, my God. Oh, Lordy.
I do feel a little bit sorry for the liquor store. Was it Big Top Liquor? Was
Big
that the
Top
name of
Liquor,
it?
yeah.
You know, they tried to relocate. And they couldn't. And,
well,
I kind of wish, and maybe they did,
but
I kind of wish the ownership group maybe would have put in some effort to help them. But maybe they did. It was just a year.
Yeah.
Because I found some fantastic deals there. I'm a big whiskey guy, and I went there to take some pictures of the stadium a few months ago now. And I was like, well, I feel bad just sitting in the parking lot and take pictures. So I'll go in there.
I'll go buy some whiskey.
Buy some.
Oh.
And I had no intentions of buying whiskey. I was going to buy some beer, and I walked down the whiskey aisle. And High West, which is a fantastic distillery in Utah, they had their double rye for $19.99 a bottle, and it's regular $29, $30 a bottle.